10 a.m. And with that, a very warm welcome to all of you attending this webinar that we decided to have focus on how you as a user can streamline your data management experience and workflows in Vault Professional. Before we start the webinar, I'll just briefly show you the house rules. So all of you attending are by default muted in this session, but you are all free to ask any questions you might have in our Q&A panel. The webinar will be recorded and will as well be available afterwards on demand from our webpage. And please fill out the survey after this webinar as well. So with that said, I will just briefly present myself. My name is René. I'm based in Denmark. I have been a part of the NTI organization the last 16 years, where I, within the manufacturing industry, have implemented a lot of different solutions. And by the solutions, I mean CAD, PDM, PLM, configuration, integrations. And since 2023, I've been leading the NTI Group software unit, meaning that I'm basically responsible for all our own developed software, both within the building industry, but also manufacturing. And under normal circumstances, I would actually have one of my colleagues joining me in this kind of webinars, but today I'm actually on my own. So let's see how that goes. So the agenda for this webinar is first of all an overall presentation of who is NTI, for those of you who don't know that, but also to talk about different solution approaches and how different solution concepts can be implemented for the manufacturing area. And with that presentation, I will change focus to a more technical part of the session, where I will try to showcase how engineering data status overview can be provided inside Vault. So you as an engineer can keep track of your data and the status of your data, but also how release processes and data quality can be ensured inside Vault when you prepare your data to be released. And in the end, also how you as an engineer can collaborate with your data to whoever wants to receive your data. It could be production, sales, purchase, service department. So with this webinar, I will try to cover everything related to the manufacturing area and what you can do inside Vault Professional and Vault Office for that reason as well. So what we do as NTI, we are a leading full service supplier of digital solutions, both for construction, design, manufacturing, and the media entertainment industries in Europe. And we are as well an Autodesk Platinum partner. We are based in 13 countries, both in Europe and in Brazil as well. We are plus 900 employees worldwide. So what you see here is basically the landscape of NTI and how NTI looks today. So our customers include everything from design firms, engineering, plan and process companies, just to name a few. And our customers, they have all a desire to succeed within innovation in a sustainability, in a sustainable way. And we provide solution concepts to ensure quality in data. Everything is about data, with an automated and a secure approach with engineering, manufacturing, CAM, and plan. So I'm a technician, so I can easily caught myself having focus on all the different features, applications, everything you can do with the software. But sometimes you also need to have this as a second thought, and just consider one department. Say, if you take an R&D department or engineering department, so surrounding that department, a lot of other departments is added. It could be production, could be as well be the installation side, could be the AP system, could be service department, could be the purchase department, could also be the sales guys. And all of those teams need to receive something from the engineering department. And for each of those, you might ask yourself a few questions, like, what need to be delivered? Yeah, if it was for the service department, it might be a spare part list. It might be a list containing service information. You could also ask yourself, when should it actually be delivered? Should it be delivered when everything is released? Should it be in the end of a project? And how should it be delivered? Should it just be handed over in an email, or should we place some files on a network drive, or where should it be delivered? And also, where can it be accessed? One thing is just to deliver an output, but how do we actually secure that it can be accessed correctly from where there are? So if you have the answers for those 4 questions, you might also have a very good idea what should be here in the middle to support all of these surrounding the engineering department. And this exercise could pretty easily be done just putting the ERP system in the middle or the service department in the middle, and then ask yourself the same questions. And with that said, you can also have different approaches. So you could actually have a manual approach. And if it were inside Vault, yeah, if you want to create like a drawing list, you could actually do it on demand manually just by right-clicking on an assembly or an item, and in the right-click menu, ask for a drawing list to be created. That would be a manual approach because you, as a user, have to initialize the things by yourself, but it will also be a standardized approach because the same thing will happen every time you actually initialize that command. It could also be with a semi-automatic approach, meaning that when you check into Vault or other kind of events that can initialize the creation of, in this example, a drawing list. It could be a lot of other stuff that could be handled. And then on the last step, we have the automatic approach, and that will also be the most secure approach, meaning that if the drawing list or if something else is executed, it will be executed on a lifecycle state transition. So when you move something from being work in progress to released, something might happen. And with that initialization of the job, we can also ensure that all the conditions for something to be released is fulfilled. Like, do we have the right properties? Is everything updated? Is all childs as part of a structure released as well? Everything you can imagine having demands for something to be released can be handled with this automated, and with that also a very secure approach. And all solutions might have a mix of these 3 approaches. It is not unusual at all. So our Evolver Suite covers all the products developed specifically for the manufacturing area. It provides everything you need to create data, prepare your data, but also to collaborate with your data. So all 3 phases is covered by the products being a part of the Evolver Suite. And just to give you an overview of the product landscape. So the first product we have is NCI for Inventor. We actually had a webinar last week covering that product in specific. The product comes in 2 different flavors, NCI for Inventor Professional and NCI for Inventor Essential. Both both of them is an add-in to Inventor. And with that product, you will, as an engineer, be sure that everything you create, data, will have, for example, unique numbering. You can handle your properties, but you also have a lot of tools enable you on a daily basis to ease up the different engineering processes within Inventor. The product that we will also cover today is NTI for Vault. So NTI for Vault is a brand, just like NTI for Inventor. And NTI for Vault comes in 3 different flavors. We have an NTI for Vault client. It's installed either on Autodesk Vault Office or Autodesk Vault Professional on the client side. And then we also have NTI for Vault Job, which will be installed on the job processor for Autodesk Vault. And this is the products we will cover in this webinar. Beside that, we have our NTI configurator, which is a web-based configurator that can be used by sales organizations, sales agents, anyone that needs to do some kind of product configuration, request quotes for CPQ concepts, but also with a strong integration to Vault and Inventor. And in the last year, we have our NTI integrator. And our NTI integrator is, as you can also see by the name, what enables us to integrate platforms like Vault Professional with ERP systems, PLM systems, SharePoint, whatever system you could imagine can be integrated. It comes as well in an essential version where we can provide a one-way integration from Vault to ERP, where the full version can provide a bidirectional integration. And we do as well have an NTI integrator client that will be installed on top of the Autodesk Vault client for you as a user to interact with the integrator from the client or the job processor. So this is how the product landscape of Evolver Suite looks like. And with all of those products and the Autodesk ecosystem, we can actually provide a lot of different solution levels. So this is just 4 random levels where you, on the 2 first steps, could have what we could consider as entry levels. But you could also have a more extended or integrated level. So just to showcase this, on the first step, what you could consider as the lowest level of a solution, it could be using Inventor in combination with Vault Basic and NTI for Inventor Essential. With that solution, you will have a pretty good handling of your properties with our property editor. You will have unique file naming, and you will ensure that the data you have a quite high quality, and you will also be in control of versions and the different references in your data because you use Vault Basic as PDM system. On the next level, we will exchange Vault Basic with Vault Professional and also NTI for Inventor Essential with NTI for Inventor Professional. So with this solution, you could do a lot more, like publish your files from Inventor into Vault. It will still be with a manual approach, but you can do it in an overview so you can keep track of your files. And with a more extended solution, we will add the job processor, and with that also the usage of lifecycle state transitions, like you will use the lifecycles inside Vault. And with that, we will add the NTI for Vault client and the NTI for Vault job as part of the solution. So this is where we have where we begin to have the more automated approach, where the first 2 steps were the first level 1 was the more manual, level 2 were the event-based, and this is the automated approach. And of course, on the last level, we will have the integrated approach where we also have integration to ERP or PLM for handling bill of materials, change management, all of that related to those kind of platforms. And it's obvious, in between these 4 levels, there could be hundreds of levels and flavors of how solution concepts can help you bring value into your business. This is just 4 random examples. So why should you use NCI for Vault? Yeah, basically it will streamline your data management, and it will also reduce the time spent on manual tasks with a strong collaboration and integrated functionality, meaning that instead of having the manual approach where you as a user need to remember to press the button for something to happen, everything will be managed with an automated approach, and with that also a more secure approach. It will also help you exploring dependencies in files and items for easy to keep track and management of your file status, versions, and revisions. So it basically gives you an overview where you can see how data is referenced between files and items. It also enables you to collect and share documentation files across departments and stakeholders, like you remember the visualization I had with the different departments surrounding the engineering department. And it will also ensure data quality when you prepare your data to be released. And it will standardize the approach for data creation and delivery. So with NCI for Vault, in combination with Vault Professional, you will have a very, very strong PDM solution. So just a brief overview of the solution architecture. So on your local client, meaning the end user's client, NCI for Vault Client is installed alongside with Autodesk Vault Professional or Autodesk Vault Office. And with the Vault Client, it basically comes with 13 main functions, and as well as a lot of other additional functions. And it can handle lifecycle state actions and restrictions, meaning that if you wanted to change a lifecycle state from work in progress to schedule for release, we can actually ensure that that lifecycle state change only take place if the conditions for that to take place is fulfilled. You can also provide a more efficient way of handling properties with data cards as a replacement for the property grid that comes out of the box with Vault. It can also give you this overview of your engineering data with something called usage filter and drawing list views. And it can as well collect and export data like PDF, DXF, but also native files as well. And you can queue jobs for the Autodesk Vault job processor on demand with the job queuer and a lot of other functions. And if you actually use the Vault job processor in combination with your Vault Professional, you may take very good advantage of the NCI for Vault job. NCI for Vault job comes with 66 custom jobs. And by custom jobs, I mean your capability of creating design representation files like PDF, DXF, STEP, or many other file formats. And by default, it actually handles both Inventor, AutoCAD, and Microsoft file formats, alongside with other files formats as well. It will enable you to synchronize properties between files and items, but also ensure that properties is updated as part of the lifecycle state change. You can update the Vault visualization file, so the Vault viewer inside Vault always reflects the current version of your Inventor files or AutoCAD files. You can watermark PDF files. You can actually also execute a logic scripts and a lot more. So as you can see, both products will actually give you a lot of capabilities. So inside Vault, there is actually 4 different environments. There is the file environment, items, custom objects, and change orders. And all 4 environments is actually supported by NCI for Vault job, meaning that we can actually handle and schedule custom jobs for all 4 environments. So this was just a brief overview of the different products and how they're installed. And due to the time we have today, I can only show you fragments of what we can actually do with these products. So, but with data cards, as an example, we can actually enable you to give you a lot better overview and handling of your properties inside Vault. So as you can see here, this is just a really screen dump of my own property grid. This is how the property grid looks out of the box from Vault. But with the data cards, you will actually have an additional tab inside Vault where you can create sub-tabs, as many as you want actually, and actually arrange your properties. So in this case, I had just arranged so I have the user-defined properties in one column, and I have all my calculated properties in another column, and also have an additional sub-tab with all my system properties. And all of this can be set up exactly like you want, and it can actually be arranged per file type as well. So I have this short video showcasing how it actually looks like. And this is just from my own Vault setup. So inside Vault, you have this this property grid, as you can see here, with the system properties being a part of in this case, an item, and also have my user-defined properties associated to that specific Vault category. So if I switch off here, you will have more space for your columns. And this is actually how the data card looks like. So I have the tab called properties. And that tab can actually be named exactly as you desire. And you can actually edit the properties directly inside Vault as well and take advantage of the lookup list if you have that as some of your properties. So beside handling the properties inside Vault, you can as well also copy properties from one file to another or from one file to an item. So it actually gives you a very good handling of that. So that's one part of how you can get an overview and how you can maintain properties. But you might also have the need to keep track of your drawings. And for that, we actually have what we call drawing status. It basically can consist of two different tabs. A tab called affected drawings and one called contained drawings. The affected drawings is when you create a change, it will actually show you the drawings affected by the change, meaning that if you drill a hole in a bracket, it will actually show you which drawings that will be affected by that change. It could be on the part, of course, but it could also be on the sub-assemblies and main assemblies where this part is contained by. And the contained drawings is actually, if you mark an assembly, you can basically have a full overview of all the drawings contained by that assembly. And with that also an overview of which of the drawings is actually updated. And we have different icons displaying the different states. So maybe the drawing has been renamed. It could also be that it doesn't match the name of the model. It also might be that it just needs to be updated. It could also be that it needs to be updated because one of the child components has been changed. So you actually have a full overview here. And just to showcase that as well, you can see how it looks like inside my Vault. So in this case, I'm actually starting in my my file environment. As you can see, I have this assembly where I have one drawing need to be updated, and the main drawing needs to be updated as well because one of the subcomponents has been changed. And from this overview, you can basically navigate to the specific drawing, and with that also the part. In this case, you can see the affected drawing is the drawing of the part, but also the main assembly. So this is the difference between affected drawings and contained drawings. So in this case, I'm just updating my drawing. I'm just adding a few dimensions just to ensure that a change has been made. And then I save my drawing. And with that also ensure that it is actually updated. So I check into Vault. And after I checked into Vault, I can basically go back and showcase the overview. And now you can see the drawing is actually updated. So now the only drawing that needs to be updated is my drawing on my main assembly as well. So it's very easy, and you can see as well that from my Inventor part, only the main drawing here needs to be updated. So I can navigate back and forth directly from the overview. So this is an example of how you can keep track as an engineer on your data. Another thing of having an overview is actually with the functions we have called usage filter. So just like the two previously functions showcased, this will actually also add an additional tab inside Vault. In this case, I have called the usage filter. You can name it with the name you want, and you can create as many subtabs as you would like. And for each subtab, you can actually add conditions. So each tab will show you and provide you the overview you need. So this example, you can see I have one called model, where all my models for a specific item or assembly is shown. And I have this column called has step and has DXF. And that actually show if those specific files have a step or DXF file associated. I can as well, from this overview, mark one or multiply instance, right-click, and from the right-click menu, initialize different things like I want to collect the files, I want to schedule jobs for the files. So this is an example of how you can actually also work with a manual approach inside Vault without doing any lifecycle state transitions. So if you are a user of NCI Autodesk Vault Office, and you are a part of the project management, or you are in the purchase department, then you can actually access this data and collect the data as needed without being an Inventor user. So with that said, I would just like to show an example of how it actually looks like inside Vault and how it can be used. So in this case, I will mark an assembly. You can see here I actually have the subtabs, model, drawing, PDF, and laser cut. This is just 4 random examples where I have the additional columns added. And the column called has step and has DXF, and in this case also has PDF, is actually added automatically when you install NCI for our client. So as you can see here, if I mark the PDF files, they can be copied in zip. I can open them, and I can basically navigate both within the file environment, but also on the item environment. And as you can see, I have everything here. I can go back and forth between item and file environment if you're using items, of course. So it supports both environments. And for a company not having a full integration to AP, where every time you create a purchase order or production order, the files will be collected, this is a good alternative where you, with a manual, but also with a very good approach, can actually collect files and have a very good overview. So this is some of the tools we have that can give you an overview and keep track of your data. But when you start to handle your data, you can also have different approaches for how you can queue jobs for the Autodesk Vault job processor. And the most used approach is, of course, on a lifecycle state transition. So when you change your state in Vault, could be on files, could be on items, could also be on change orders. When you move, when you change the state from work in progress to, for example, schedule for release, that transition can initialize a job to be queued for the job processor. But it might also be sometimes good to do it on demand. So when you right-click on an item or right-click on a file, you can also on demand schedule jobs for the job queue as well. And as part of that command execution, we can also have different conditions ensuring that you are only allowed to schedule the job if the file item is released, or if it is property compliant, or whatever conditions you might have for the command to be executed. So this is the two main approaches you can have for queue jobs for the Autodesk Vault job processor from the client. So let's have a look at a lifecycle state transition. So first of all, you want to avoid a lifecycle state change to take place if the data does not fulfill the requirements, meaning that it might be that a drawing needs to be saved after the model, or it could be a lot of different conditions that need to be fulfilled. You will also have a situation where you always can rely on data and the automated approach as part of the solution. So when you're having an automated approach, you have to rely on the system. You have to trust the system, have everything, have track on everything, compared to the manual approach where you, as a user, decide to take action. And you also want to ensure that only data fulfilling the criteria for what you could expect as quality can be released in the end. So this is three obvious things that need to be a part of the lifecycle state process. So if you just consider you as a user moving something from work in progress to schedule for release, you might want to ensure that your inventor drawing is saved after the model, meaning that if you have changed your model, you want to be 100% sure that you are only allowed to release that data if the drawing is actually updated. You might also want to have all your properties in place, but it could also be a lot of other conditions that need to be fulfilled. And this is actually where NTI for Vault Client comes into play. So if you as a user try to change state on a file or an item, and that specific instance doesn't fulfill the conditions for the lifecycle state change to take place, we can actually expose that for the user. So in this case, I have made an example where I have changed my model, but I forgot to update my drawing. This is showcased in an item-based environment, but of course we can do the exact same validation in the file environment. So now I change the state from work in progress to schedule for release, and a dialog box appearing telling me that the drawing is saved before the model, and for that reason I'm not allowed to really perform that lifecycle state change. So to do that, I need to open my drawing and update it and save it. So another thing, changing a lifecycle state from work in progress to schedule for release is also for the job processor to say, yeah, as part of that transition, I want to have PDF, DXF, or step files created of my native Inventor files. It could also be Word documents or AutoCAD files. It could be many different jobs handled as part of that transition. And also want to update my visualization files so I can rely on the Vault viewer inside Vault. And one of the capabilities we have with NTI for Vault Job is actually that if those design representation files is created with success and everything is updated and handled as we expect it to be, the job processor can actually change state from scheduled for release to ready for release in this case. And this is actually a handshake to you as a user to notify that, yes, now everything is in place, it can be reviewed. And as part of that, additional jobs can be scheduled as well. In this case, I've just made an example where I actually watermark the PDF and Inventor drawings as part of the lifecycle state change. So they will be watermarked with the lifecycle state name, in this case, ready for release. And afterwards, a combination of NTI for Client and NTI for Job could also add additional functionality like forward check. So if one user changes the state from work in progress to schedule for release, another user have to change the state from ready for release to release, for example. It could be if you have critical components as part of your design data. We can also ensure that all levels in the structure are released before you can release the main assemblies. And for the NTI for job, as part of the final release process, it could also be to update the title block on the drawings with information like who has approved and the date of approval. It could also be to extract the design representation files to a disk or to some kind of business systems like ERP, as well as extract item and bill of material to Excel or again to ERP or PLM. So this is just one example of what could happen as part of a lifecycle state change. And just to showcase how this actually looks like in real life, I have made an example where I actually combine the file-based environment with the item-based. So I started my file-based environment. In this case, I have prepared a part with a drawing. And as you can see, the lifecycle state of the drawing and the model is work in progress. And the revision is 0 for both instances. So now I assign an item on those files, and that item will start having the exact same lifecycle state and revision as my part, meaning work in progress and revision 0. So now I just change state on my item to schedule for release. And now the jobs is actually created on the job processor. So now it will actually create all the different files. And when it's done, it will change the state to ready for release. It actually did that now. And as you can see here, my PDF, DXF, and step file is attached to the item. And it has created a PDF file. In this case, I actually also watermark, in this case, the native Inventor drawing could also be the PDF file. So this is actually how it looked like, or how it could look like in Vault. And when I change state to released, of course, the lifecycle state of the item will be released in revision 0. But now we'll also update my PDF file and my Inventor drawing with the information like who has approved the item and the date of approval. So to show how that looks like, you can see now that the visualization file for Vault is updated, and you can see in this case my revision table is updated with, in this case, the user I'm logged in with, and the PDF file is updated as well. So all the information needed as part of the release process is actually handled by the job processor. You can see I've also added some information to the title block. So the item is released. It is released in version 0. But you can also see now that the lifecycle state on my files is changed as well. And this is actually NTI for Vault job that enable you to do that. So in this case, we actually handled the files from an item, but it could also be the opposite. So if you are used to work with files and life cycles on files, we can basically handle the items automatically in the background using NTI for Vault job. So when you change state on your files, the lifecycle state will as well be handled automatically on the items. So this was the first part coming from work in progress to released. But when you go back, or when you change the state from released back to work in progress, we also want a few things to happen. You might want to have your revision table handled, so an additional row will be added to the revision table. It might also be that you want to add information who actually performed the revision and the date of the revision. And then, of course, synchronize properties between Vault and your files. And this could actually look like this as well. So this is just the same environment where I just showcase the revision approach inside Vault. So I will start by finding my part. You see my part and my drawing is released in revision 0. So from here, I will just navigate to my item. And I will actually perform a lifecycle state change on my item. In this case, I actually chose a lifecycle state change called schedule for work in progress. And this is because I want to be in control, because when I change the state, I also change the state on the file, but I want to avoid that the user by incident checked out the files before I have everything synchronized and in place. So right now, my item is work in progress, and it is revision 1. And you can see now that my files is perfectly synchronized as well. So with this approach, we can actually ensure that everything is handled correctly. And you can see my reason table is updated as well. So now I can just change my drawing, and in this case, I'm just adding a few dimensions. I can as well also change my revision description in the property editor. This is actually how NTI for Inventor look like of the property editor. So in this case, I just check in my file, and I can update my item and then approve everything again. So this is just a simple release and revision process showcased inside Vault with a connected workflow between files and items. It could also be items only, files only, or it could be files controlling items. So this is how the release process could be handled, and how NTI for our client and NTI for our job can be used in combination. Another example of how they can be used in combination is actually with this called Vault to Order. The Vault to Order is actually, again, an alternative way of you to provide output to your suppliers, your production, and of course, some companies having an ERP integration, which we as well can provide with our NTI integrator. They probably have some kind of workflow when they create a purchase order, or if they create a production order. All the PDF files will be collected, and they will be watermarked with barcodes or quantity or order number or whatever you could imagine. But if you don't have that kind of integration, you still need to deliver that output. And this is actually where Vault to Order is very valuable for you, because we can actually watermark PDF files. And this actually works both for assemblies, but also for items. You can add several watermarks per drawing. And you can actually add information like quantity, where used, with quantity, project numbers, or any kind of information you as a user want to provide as part of the watermarks. And you are in completely control of the placement, color, font size, and font type per sheet, and also per sheet size. And as part of this, you can as well merge all the PDF files into one single PDF file if you want to do that as well. So I have prepared this short video just showcasing you how this actually looks like in real life. So in this case, I have an item, and I have actually created just a right-click menu where I first of all can add a value where my quantity will be multiplied with that value. So now I'm actually multiplying the quantity with 5, and also add a project number. And you can actually have as many information as you want in that dialog box. It's just a matter of configuring it as part of the configuration. So now I actually executed the job on that specific item. Could as well be an assembly. So you see, this is the drawing of the main assembly, and this is the sub-drawings with the different watermarks. And the watermarks can actually be placed on top of the title block, so they actually look like properties coming from the model, but in real life it is just watermarks. So again, if you have the need to create output like this for your production, and you want to collect the files from Vault, ensuring that everything is in place and released, you can still do that with a manual approach instead of an automated approach. So, and this actually goes as well for drawing list, because the ideal way of handling like bill of materials, different list, will of course be to extract the information from Vault, and deliver it to your ERP system, and then for your ERP system to break down that bill of material and provide the list you need, like a list for purchasing, a list for laser cuts, whatever you could imagine. But again, if you don't have that kind of integration, you need some kind of alternative solution. This is actually where the drawing list export comes into play, because this is actually where you can create list containing the information you need. And it could be to export everything to Excel. As you can see here, this is just one way of creating the Excel sheet with the position, the drawing number, revision, drawing name, description, and the different revisions being a part of that data and the date of the revision. But it could also be Excel sheet containing links. So when you press these links, so you can see in the drawing number, Vault thin client will actually open up and view the specific drawing or model. So you can basically interact with Vault from these Excel sheet as well. And so as you can see, we have a lot of different functions that can actually help you having control, keep track of your data, handling your data as part of the release cycle, but also to collaborate with your data. So with that said, I will also like to show you this. This is actually brand new, coming from NTI. For all the products being a part of the Evolver suite, if you press F1 or press the help button inside the product, you will actually be forwarded specifically for these help centers. So each product have a dedicated help center. And in the help center, you will have the what's new available, so you can always keep track of what has been recently been released and read about different functionality being a part of that specific release. We also have a full manual with a lot of articles explaining how things is configured. So you can see here the data card that I just showed today. This article explains exactly how things work, how you configure it. And alongside with that, we also have getting started videos. So again, if you want to showcase how data card is actually configured, you can see we have this article explaining step by step how to do it, but also video. And each video have AI voiceovers. So it's not just a video, it's also explained how things is configured and how you actually work with the different functionalities. And actually, as a part of this, we have the AI assistant as well. So in this case, I just asked the AI assistant, how do I collect PDF files from items? And then it just answers me how I can collect them using the design representation collector. And it also gives me links to the video and the article explaining more in detail how to do it. So this is actually available for all of you, and it will actually give you a lot of information of how you can configure and customize the products by yourself. So alongside with that, I also want to mention a webinar actually coming next week. No, not next week, October 29th. So this is actually the next step of what you saw today. So in this webinar, we will specifically focus on the NTI Integrator and how you actually can integrate your business systems to have not just a more automated approach, but also an integrated approach. And it can be to eliminate time-consuming processes with a manual data transfer. It could be mismatch and inconsistent data across systems, because talking about integrations, of course, it is obvious that, yeah, you can extract data from Vault and you can deliver it to an ERP system or PLM or whatever system you could imagine. But it's also a matter of exposing data. So what if you as an engineer could actually showcase ERP data directly inside Vault? So when you mark a file or an item, you can actually see live data from your ERP system directly inside Vault. So you don't need to log into your ERP system to showcase that. So this webinar will give you a very good introduction to NTI Integrator. It will explore the key features of how you can create a more integrated platform. And it will show you exactly how PDM, PLM, and ERP systems can be connected. And of course, it is also a great opportunity for you to ask any questions you might have in regard to that specific platform. So with that said, I would like to go to the Q&A, and with that, I would actually stop sharing my screen and go to the Q&A. Because I'm on my own today, I have not been capable of answering questions during the session. But I have a question here called, will calculated properties come automatically from Inventor? Yes, they will. If you use NTI for Inventor, the calculated properties will be calculated by that add-in. And this is actually quite important also if you are considering integrations, because what we can do with NTI for Inventor is actually that the unit of the calculated properties, let's say you always want to have length, width, and height calculated in millimeters, then we can actually ensure that those are always calculated with that specific unit, no matter which template you have started with. So if you start with a template in inches, you will still have those things calculated in millimeters. So it's very important that you use that kind of add-in to ensure the quality, especially if you want to integrate your data with business systems like ERP. Also a question, if it is possible to change the approval process before making a new revision. Yes. What you saw today is just one example of how it can be configured, but you can have as many states and as many, what should you say, approaches of how you handle the life cycle. So if you want to have a life cycle where you can create quick changes, meaning you remove the approval without having a new revision, that can be done as well. You can have primary and secondary revisions. So everything can be customized in the way you prefer and how. So we actually ensure that we support how you work. So another question is it possible to create a watermark that shows page, like page 1 of 23? And yes, it is, definitely. So, and the watermark can be placed wherever you would like. So it could be, for example, in the right lower corner with the font color and the font size you prefer. So that as well is just standard functionality. And I would say for me, what I quite often see is that, of course, these kind of solutions is mainly implemented on first hand by the consultants of NTI. So we help you implement the solution you prefer. But afterwards, due to the UI of the products, you can actually be capable of customizing and expand that solution on your own quite easily, because everything is handled with a UI where you can have a pretty easy overview of how everything is actually configured. So with that said, I think that was the questions I had in the QA. I hope all of you were inspired by this webinar. Of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, we only have 1 hour, so I can only showcase you fragments of what we can actually do, but I can assure you that we have the solution concepts that will support how you work, and we can also support you no matter if you are working with a manual, semi-automatic, or a full automatic approach. And we can ensure that if you have a strategy where you want to move from the manual to the integrated approach, we can help you with that journey as well. So yeah, with that said, I will say thanks for all of you for attending. I hope you find this webinar valuable, and as well as you will attend our webinar October 29th with NTI Integrator. So with that, thank you all for attending, and a very good day to all of you.